Do you ever notice how quick people forget? Like something feels massive to you in the moment. Maybe you embarrassed yourself, maybe you said something dumb, maybe you failed at something that felt pretty huge in the moment. And then a couple days later, nobody really cares. They've moved on. And honestly, sometimes even the people closest to you barely even remember. And it's not because they don't care about you, it's because they're too wrapped up in their own lives. At first, it sounds kind of depressing, right? Like, dang, I don't even matter that much. But the more I think about it, the more freeing it actually feels. If people forget your mistakes that quickly, it means you don't have to hold on to them either. You don't have to live life with this constant weight that every little thing you do is under a spotlight. Because the truth is, it's not. I think a lot of us walk around imagining that other people are watching our every move, like they're keeping score. And that pressure keeps us from doing stuff we actually want to do. You don't talk to that person, you don't try that new thing, and you don't post that video because you're afraid people are going to laugh or judge. But man, everyone else is too busy worrying about themselves to remember what you did. And it's funny because I catch myself doing it all the time. Like I'll replay a conversation in my head, like, bro, why did I say that? Or I'll look back in a moment where I wasn't confident and I'll cringe for hours. And then I realize the person that I'm worried about probably hasn't even thought about it once since it happened. They're dealing with their own insecurities, their own problems, their own cringy moments. And that makes me wonder, how much of my life have I wasted holding on to stuff that nobody else is even thinking about? There's this idea that I keep bumping into, and it's that we put way too much weight on how we look in the eyes of other people. Like we act like their opinions are these permanent records, etched into stone. But really, people's memories are just short. They forget, and eventually you'll be forgotten too. And that sounds dark, but if you sit with it, it is kind of freeing, as I said before. Because if most of what you do isn't going to be remembered, then you're free to live more honestly. You don't have to obsess over getting every move right. You don't have to keep up some image. You can just live. Mess up, try again, do something dumb, learn from it, keep moving forward. And the wild part is, even the stuff that you think will be remembered, the achievements, the successes, people are going to forget that too. Like think about the biggest thing you accomplished in high school. How many people even know about it now? How many even care? At the time it felt huge, but life keeps moving and so do other people. That doesn't mean achievements aren't worth chasing. It just means you can't put your whole identity in them. Because if the only reason you're doing something is to be remembered or to get people's approval, you're setting yourself up to be really damn disappointed. And the memory fades way faster than you think. So maybe the question is, if people forget so quick, what actually matters then? And I don't think there's one answer to that. I mean, I don't know. I'm 21, I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else. But I do know this. When I look back on moments that stuck with me, it wasn't the times that I was worried about what people thought. It was the times I was actually present, living, not overthinking every detail. When you're laughing with friends about like the stupidest things and you can barely breathe, or you're sitting outside on a summer night and everything just feels calm, or you're just doing something that feels meaningful even if nobody notices at all. And that stuff, it feels real. And maybe it doesn't matter if other people remember it. What matters is that you do. The more I think about it, the more I realize how short life really is. We're here for such a tiny slice of time, and in that time, everyone's rushing around, chasing things, trying to look good in front of others, trying to be remembered. But if almost nobody's going to remember anyway, maybe the goal shouldn't be to be remembered at all. Maybe the goal is just to live life in a way that feels meaningful while you're here. Like imagine you're stressing about whether people remember what you did today. In 10 years, they won't. In 50 years, nobody alive will even know you. In 100 years, you'll just be another name that's faded away. And it's not meant to be depressing, but it's just reality. And reality can actually take a lot of weight off your shoulders. Because if you're not going to be remembered forever, then stop living like your every move has to be perfect. Stop carrying that pressure. Do things that actually matter to you, that make your life fuller, that bring you more peace. The rest of it is all noise. I think that once you start to accept that, you actually start living lighter. You stop being crushed by other people's opinions because you know they'll forget anyway. And you also stop being crushed by your own perfectionism because you realize nobody's keeping score and that you're completely free. So yeah, they'll forget faster than you think. And that's not something to fear. That's something to lean into. But if people just forget so fast, the question becomes, what do you actually do with that? Like if none of this lasts, what's actually worth chasing then? And that's the part that's been hitting me lately, because if the goal isn't to be remembered, then the whole scoreboard we've been kind of playing on falls apart. The comparisons, the flexing, the trying to prove something, it all feels kind of empty once you realize how temporary it all is. I think that's why people end up chasing the wrong stuff, whether it's money, status, attention, whatever. Not because those things are evil or useless, but because they don't deliver what you think they will. You get it, and then the feeling fades. People clap for a little bit, then they move on. You're stuck needing the next thing to fill the hole. It's like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. It looks like it'll help, but it just makes you want more. And the crazy thing is, deep down, we kind of know this. We know that the new car or promotion or the followers aren't going to fix us forever. But we still chase them because we don't know what else to aim for. Everyone else is running after the same thing, so we assume that's the path. But if you zoom out, it doesn't make any sense. If everyone's chasing something that doesn't actually satisfy, then maybe the real answer is found in stepping off that path. That's where I think the idea of seasons come in. Life isn't supposed to be one constant grind to be remembered. It moves in rhythms. There's a time to push, a time to rest, a time to build, a time to let go, a time to be seen, and a time to just be quiet. But if you're always chasing recognition, you miss those rhythms. You're so busy trying to hold on to a moment that's already fading that you don't notice the season you're in right now. Like, imagine being in a season where you're supposed to grow roots, learn, build discipline, prepare, but instead you're just trying to live like it's a season of harvest where everyone claps for you. You'll be frustrated because it's not the time yet. Or maybe you're in a season where you should be letting go, moving on from something, but you're still holding on because you're worried about how it looks to other people. You get stuck and the moment passes you by. That's why I think the freedom in being forgotten is actually huge. If people forget so quick, then stop trying to live for the applause. Instead, lean into the season you're in. Ask yourself what actually matters right now. Not in 10 years, not in someone else's highlight reel, but in this moment in this life. For me, sometimes it looks like consistently showing up to the gym. Not because anyone's watching, but because I know I'll be stronger for it. Sometimes it looks like choosing to have a real conversation instead of just small talk. Sometimes it's just slowing down, sitting in the quiet, and being okay with it. That stuff doesn't sound flashy and it won't get remembered by a crowd, but it builds something inside you that lasts longer than any momentary applause. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the stuff that actually matters most isn't the stuff that people remember, but the stuff that shapes who you are when no one's paying attention. The more I think about it, the more I realize how backwards my priorities have been at times. I'll stress over what people will think about a decision, but then not even think twice about whether the decision is actually good for me long term. Like, I'll avoid embarrassment, but then live in ways that are quietly destroying me. It doesn't make sense, but we all do it. That's why the reminder that they'll forget faster than you think is actually powerful. Because if their memory of you is short, then why give their opinion so much control? Why not give more weight to what you know matters? Your character, your peace, your growth, the way you treat people. And don't get me wrong, I don't have this all figured out. I still get caught up in comparison and chasing the wrong things and worrying about stuff that doesn't matter. But I'm starting to see how empty it is. Like, every time I've thought, this is the thing that will finally make me feel complete, it never really lasts, and the high fades, and people might clap, but then they move on, and I'm left wondering, okay, now what? The cycle doesn't end until you step out of it, until you stop trying to be remembered and start trying to be real. So maybe the way forward isn't to build a legacy that everyone remembers forever. Maybe it's just to live fully in the little slice of time that you've been given, to be honest with yourself, to treat people better, to stop obsessing over the scoreboard and just play the game. Because one day, yeah, you'll be forgotten. So will I, and so will all of us. But the way you live while you're here, that matters. And it's not because people will clap for it, but it's because it's your life. And you're the one who has to live it. So if they'll forget faster than you think, good. That means you're free. Free to let go of the pressure, free to stop chasing applause, free to live the season that you're in. With meaning, even if nobody notices.